When it comes to sailing, Bermuda never disappoints.
What a start by the fleet!
High speeds and high risks.
Oh no!
The Bons Flying Roos and Los Gallos are on top after day one.
Punching. This is an absolute championship fight.
With the US SailGP team just behind.
Absolute perfection.
3 winners from 4 races. On day 2, it's all to play for. This is SailGP Supercharged on Super Sunday.
Waves crash underneath, sound like thunder speaking. Flying carbon machines, driven by the world's best. Yes, powered by nature, raw passion, all action. When it takes, racing on water, racing with impact. Give it all, everything. Give it all, everything. We are racing. When it takes, we are SailGP.
Nestled in the North Atlantic, Bermuda is a sailing paradise. Small in landmass, this island nation more than makes up for it in sheer beauty and idyllic natural landscapes. Today, the shores of this picturesque nation will host the world's best sailors, who are on a round-the-world quest to prove their national team is the best on the planet. Welcome to Bermuda, where for the 4th time in league history, the Great Sound will be the arena for sailing's elite. And on this Super Sunday edition of SailGP, the fight for supremacy will carry on all the way to the final race of the day. The 5th event of Season 6 will shed more light on who is a real contender and which teams are pretenders. There is no hiding today in front of a sold-out crowd. Mother Nature has delivered the goods. Now it's time for the 12 national teams to rise to the occasion. Alongside Olympian Stevie Morrison and former MSGBR athlete Hannah Diamond, I'm Todd Harris. This is the Apex Group Bermuda Sail Grand Prix. After Event 5 in Bermuda concludes, it is a quick trip north to the Big Apple in New York City. After that, another quick commute across the Canadian border to Halifax. With North America in the rearview mirror, the European leg of Season 6 takes center stage with stops in England, Germany, Spain, and Switzerland. The season concludes with events in the Middle East before a champion is crowned at the Grand Final in Abu Dhabi in November. A third of the season is complete, and once again, it's the Bons Flying Roos of Australia that find themselves on top of the overall leaderboard. Last year's champions, MSGBR, hold down 2nd place just ahead of the US SailGP team in 3rd. Season 4's champions, Los Gallos Spain, are in 4th, with rookie team Artemis tied for 5th with DS Team France. Rockwell Denmark, Germany, Deutsche Bank, and Red Bull Italy are still in the conversation. Before we get set for today's racing, let's recap Days 1's action on the Great Sound here in Bermuda. SailGP was operating on island time as the F-50 fleet soared into Bermuda. Conditions were ideal for supercharged racing, with high speeds and high risk on the racetrack.
This is just epic racing. It's so close. No mistakes allowed or someone will pounce.
A late technical error saw Artemis sit out day 1 in Bermuda.
We started sailing and then you just hear the bang. And it's, something's off. Whenever you hear that, it's usually bad.
An early injury for Glenn Ashby in the 2nd race put a dent in the plans of DS Team France. It's been a return to form for the United States SailGP team this season. Lady Liberty out in front. The Americans will get the whole shot in race 1. Taylor Canfield got his team out in front early and dictated the race from there. And a place in the final is theirs to lose.
Good job.
With the Bons Flying Roos flying high after a perfect Sunday in Rio, they continued their fine form, winning a chaotic 2nd race.
That's right, guys.
With Rockwell Racing and Los Gallos securing a top 3 place in a breathless finish.
Oh, you've got a Spain. You needed to see that earlier. They could have given more space early there. And now it's a sprint. Looks like the Spanish will get to 3rd.
Los Gallos were a joy to watch all day.
Oh, he's a magician at the moment. They are so fast.
Which meant 3 races and 3 different winners so far on day 1. However, it was more misery for MSGBR, who struggled out on the water once again.
We need to just stop getting in all this trouble.
The last race of the day saw the Bons Flying Roos bring home the bacon one more time.
Expect Slingsby to drop the hammer over the top from here.
Red Bull Italy put a disappointing start to the day behind them.
Oh, what a job by the Italians.
To push the Aussies right to the limit in race 4.
2 wins on a day, pretty good.
So after 4 races on day 1, we have a deadlock at the top of the table. Consistency pays off for the Bonds Flying Roos of Australia and Los Gallos, Spain, as they are even on 32 points. The US SailGP team is in 3rd place, 3 points clear of Germany, Deutsche Bank, and North Star Canada. Emirates GBR leads a quartet of hopeful teams. Red Bull Italy, Explorer Swiss, and Rockwell Racing Denmark, all still hoping to crack the top 3 and a chance to compete in today's event final.
Well, after the 4 races we had for the fleet yesterday, we've got 3 more races for all the boats. They're going to be trying to accumulate as many points as possible. It's 10 points if you win the race, 9 if you're second, all the way down to 1 in 10th place. But if you're worse than that, you're not getting any points at all. Top 3 boats in those overall standings are going to go through to a winner-takes-all final race here in Bermuda.
The crystal blue waters on the Great Sound is the setting for today's second day of racing here in Bermuda. Yesterday's winners always came from the front of the pack at Mark 1, showing just how important it is to get off the start line well. From here, the fleet will race to Gate 2 and either turn left or right before heading up towards the shoreline in Gate 3. Despite a different wind direction, the priorities today are likely to be similar, with conditions rewarding accuracy around the course. Sailors might describe today as a gain feature day, with lots of boats positioning themselves to take the same gate mark for a strategic advantage.
So there are the 12 teams participating. Remember, the Black Foes of New Zealand, their boat will not be ready until possibly Halifax. So for more information down on the water, we check in with the 4th member of our broadcast team. Here's Olympic silver medalist Lisa Darmanin.
It's another beautiful day out here on the Great Sound. We have great conditions for SailGP racing. Wind blowing from the south, 15 kilometres per hour, gusting up to 25. It's coming over the grandstand, so a little shifty and gusty, especially at the gate right near that land. Configuration-wise, we've got the high-speed T-foils and the high-speed rudders, so right on the edge of that today. In the air, we've got the 24-metre all-purpose wing, and at the front, we've got the largest jib sail. Positive news is that the tech team did an amazing job on shore overnight, and that Artemis is back on the water, so awesome to see them ripping around and getting ready for racing. And DS Team France have found a spare wing trimmer, so they'll also be on the start line. So great to see everyone out here ready to go.
So all the teams now getting themselves into position. Remember, there are 3 fleet races today. After that, only the top 3 teams on points will race in the event final. Absolute beautiful conditions today. So Hannah Diamond, if you look at the conditions out there, what they're dealing with, the configurations on the boat, what should we expect today?
Well, I think it's a little bit lighter than perhaps we were expecting today, and so the sailors are going to have to be a little bit careful when especially when they're going around that top gate underneath the shoreline, because it could be quite light and patchy up there. We're hoping to see that there will be some graphics to help us understand what that wind strength is, but I think it's going to be a slightly different day to what we were expecting with slightly lighter winds.
Stevie, one of the most absolute perfect configurations and settings for sailing. Now we go from yesterday where we were missing 2 boats. Remember, Artemis was not able to go, and then we lost France in one of the races. Now we're up to 12. How does that change the dynamics of this with the wind that we have?
I think it just means there's going to be a lot more congestion in the pack. It's going to seem really busy at Gate 2. We saw yesterday, you know, if you could start well, when you look at the averages, Australia averaged 2.2 at Mark 1, the USA 2.5, and those 2 are the outstanding starters. Spain, well, yesterday they overtook 13 boats in the 4 races. Incredible gaining of points, but they're going to need to start a little bit better today if they want to do that. Yeah, I mean, Lisa, I thought I was the cheesy one, but she said it was a beautiful day, and I think it still will be absolutely perfect out here for the F50s. But the top of the course, near the grandstand, you're going to have to be accurate. If you fall off the foils there, it could really, really hurt your race.
Well, it's got to be better than yesterday, as DS Team France had an incident on board, and we'll take you back to this. This was in race number 2, and Glenn Ashby crossing over here, and oh, terrible. The report is a broken leg for him. They had to retire from racing, and earlier today, Lisa Darmanin catching up with the injured Glenn Ashby.
Glenn, obviously really unfortunate injury. How are you feeling this morning?
A little bit tired this morning, I must say, but yeah, I've decided this morning I might just sit on one side of the boat today and just put the wing in the cleat on the on the port side, I think, and just trim with twist, I think. But no, look, it's been a big 24 hours, but you know, definitely not the way I wanted to, you know, finish the regatta here. You know, sitting on the sidelines watching, but. Last time here in Bermuda on a 50-foot foiling catamaran was pretty nice, so it would have been nice to have some more great racing. But at the end of the day, you got to look forwards, not backwards. Just one of those ones that, you know, just happened. And I've had so many bumps and bruises and broken bones over the years that I'm just going to add this one to the list and play on.
And we want to wish Glenn a speedy recovery as he comes back from that broken leg incident. So we come up on 1 minute to go before the first race of the day here on Super Sunday. This is race number 5 as all the teams get into position. Hannah Diamond, where would you like to be right now?
Well, I think we saw from yesterday, being the top end of the line can make it quite hard to get down to Mark 1, but a very different start line position today. So getting ahead is going to be important, but finding space in the line to accelerate is going to be key.
And with 40 seconds to go, the dance begins for race number 5 as we kick off the final day of racing here at the Apex Group Bermuda Sail Grand Prix. Stevie, here we go. They wind it up. This is the calm before the chaos.
Yeah, good positioning by the Swiss team at the moment. They've got the Rolex pole predictor on them. United States, he's been the starting master, but he's a little bit trapped at the moment. De La Pierre, bottom of our screen on the French boat, looks well set up. Top of the line, it's the Spanish. I think those two boats are the ones that are going to potentially find the space. Spain are foiling at the top. They're going to come in fast. 12 seconds to go. Favoured positions in the middle of the line. France are well positioned. Spain are well positioned. It's all about the wind up and the strike now. Here we go. 4 seconds to go. Watch for the line to turn right. Botín looks perfect. Oh, the Spanish, we said they needed to start better today, and wow, hallelujah, what a start by Los Gallos at the top of the line. They're going to have a faster angle. Can they convert to lead at Mark 1?
And they are the defending champions from 2 years ago, Los Gallos, Spain, with a great start to kick off Super Sunday.
That's a big lead that's going to turn into, I think. French haven't had a good day starting, but they're back in it. Brilliant work by them. Dave Gilmore stepped in on the wing. What a performance by him so far. But for Spain, I've got them pegged as the absolute favourite in these kind of breezes, and they look good. Have a look at Canada, Artemis, and Denmark out the back. I think that this upwind end of the course, if you fall off the foils there's not a lot of wind to get going again.
That's my angle.
So the Bons Flying Roos and Spain coming to this one as the overall leaders.
This is the umpires. Penalty Germany, windward boat not keeping clear, go behind Brazil.
There's the action on the cross for Spain. Look how smooth that is.
Yeah, I mean, it's really see how flat it is, but you see there is big errors if you make a mistake. Middle of the screen there, Emirates GBR, they've fallen off the foils in a manoeuvre. That's been the story of their last few events, really. A few unforced errors that we're not used to seeing. They've been so perfect. And I think we're going to learn a bit about the course down here, Todd. Emirates GBR, we're back on board with them. They'll calm things down.
Getting a bit tricky around the race course, eh?
Lisa did mention a general drop in the breeze. I think that's what Dylan will mean when he says tricky, won't he, Hannah? As soon as it drops, it gets harder.
Yeah, that's right. I think there's quite big holes in the breeze as well, so you can be in good pressure 1 minute, and then if you go too far in one direction, then you can fall out. You can see here we've got some arrows on the course there. So the red and the yellow sort of signifies more wind, with the lighter areas of pressure being signified by some green and blue arrows. So helping us visualize where the best pressure is on the course.
And right now, unlike yesterday, it looks like Spain's going to opt for the right side of the course. Remember, yesterday it was that left side of the DP World Gate, gate number 2, and Los Gallos and Diego Botín, their driver, will spin it around and head back.
Yeah, they weren't perfect with their ley line in there. They came a little bit narrow. France is going to have a nicer exit here, a bit faster, wide in, tight out, just like you're driving a car around a racetrack there. Beautiful exit by the French. That'll be a small gain to the French, but it's a big, big lead at the moment. 10 seconds ahead, the Spanish boat at gate 2. That's a big lead. And look how far these first 3 boats have gone. I think the story of the day will be how you convert an 8th, something like that, into a good result. These 3 boats should be able to keep it simple and extend to a good result.
This is leg 3 of 6 in race number 5, the first race of the day. We got 3 fleet races scheduled for you. Right now it is Spain, France, and Australia 1, 2, and 3. We go down on the water. Lisa Darmanin, why the big gap between the first 3 boats and the rest of the fleet?
It really is a combination of getting out in front and being able to execute. So those first 3 boats, they were able to sail in clear air and they executed their manoeuvres. The ones in the back, it obviously the wind evaporates once the F-50s go past it. So they had a bit more pressure on to get that foiling manoeuvre in. And when these smaller foils, you know, we're right on the edge whether that's enough lift. So the pressure in the manoeuvres is higher than ever. But the key to this is going to be obviously about optimizing the F-50, but also extending those boundaries and trying to minimize maneuvers.
All right, thank you, Lisa. As we continue on the racing, Quentin De La Pierre, DS Team France, starting to close in there on the leaders. Spain, Los Gallos out in front still with the Australians, Bons Flying Roos in 3rd, and Emirates GBR doing a nice job currently in 4th.
I think what you're going to see here is it kind of gives away when a team's going to attack because they need to build speed before they do that maneuver. So we can see there France just maneuvering behind the Spanish boat. The Spanish boat are now building speed. They need to get up to more like 52, 53 kilometers an hour before they can commit to that attack to guarantee they're going to stay on the foils all the way through that maneuver.
Yeah, right of way France in the middle there. Dave Gilmore's doing a very good job on the wing trim for that French boat to come in and do that, but as we can see at the moment, I think the key as well is how you set up the bottom of the course. You get as wide as possible early on, because at the top it's going to be very important you don't have to manoeuvre. Look at the Oracle cloud there, and we see Spain 100%. And they're not maybe foiling quite as high as some of the other teams, but they're looking for total consistency rather than if you push it up towards 1 metre, 1.2 where Australia are now. Well, that's Jason Waterhouse absolutely pushing the limit. 1.1 is about as high as you can go safely.
So we'll continue to crunch the numbers. Remember, it's the top 3 teams after today's 3 fleet races that will race in a winner-take-all 3-boat final here in Bermuda.
Okay, set up for a manoeuvre. Let's watch the Los Gallos perform that. Tricky performing a manoeuvre right under the top gate here. They're fast in. Will they stay on the foils? As long as you keep above 30, you'll be safe. 32 maybe. Beautiful by the Spanish there. They're very, very silky in these conditions. Here we go.
Just a little one here.
Really nicely positioned. I think the game's in the pack, isn't it? 9th place USA. Canada in 12th. North Star Canada had a brilliant first day. Looked like they got the wheels back on the wagon on the first day, but they're going to need to work their way through the fleet.
Stevie, you know how much I hate agreeing with you and saying you're right, but you did spot this a couple days ago in practice in Bermuda, saying Spain just looked faster to you.
I feel like it, and I can back it up by looking up in the numbers. Australia and Spain are just consistently sailing the boat faster, that their accuracy on the manoeuvres is better. We talked to Diego yesterday and said, oh, you seem to be doing the basics very well, and he said, yeah, it's really, really hard to do the basics. And I think, you know, you're racing the best people in the world, you make little mistakes and you get punished for it. But we can see here, Emirates GBR, well, mistake after Mark 1, but they're back up to 4th, encouraging signs for the British team.
I think there's quite a lot of opportunity on this course. I think if you get ahead, it's easier, but you cannot afford to make any mistakes. There are holes in the breeze, so it is possible to fall off the foil. And even, like the Bonds Flying Ruse here, they're just getting behind Denmark there. You come into traffic quite quickly, so you have to be clean. You have to keep picking your lane around the course. But it's not as though you can get ahead and guarantee that you'll stay there.
On the left side of your screen, there's how it is right now. Those would be the top 3 teams going into the event final, still with 2 more races to go. So you've got Los Gallos Spain, the Bonds Flying Ruse of Australia, and the US SailGP team. But look how close Germany, Great Britain, Canada even in the mix still, with an opportunity with 2 races to go after this one before the field is cut down to the final 3. Massive lead right now for Los Gallos. They are out in front by more than 200 meters here on leg 4 of 6.
It's just the things to watch at home is how sort of level and stable the platform stays. They've got the boat leaning towards the side of the boat there on the whole time. What does that do? It just gives you a little bit more righting moment. Righting moment's horsepower. So the more horsepower you can get, the harder you can push, basically. And they're sailing it right on the edge, but just so consistently. That's where the gains are coming. And I think when we look in the pack, you know, Emirates GBR, we're going to see this race for 3rd. That's going to be the story of the day here, because at the moment, as you said, Todd, there's 5 or 6 boats that are going to be right in this with a good result here.
And a penalty coming out for Artemis, and Sweden cannot afford that as the Australians make their way cleanly through the DP World Gate. Nice work there by Tom Slingsby as they come through, and right behind them, Quentin Delapierre and DS Team France.
Nice push this way.
I mean, Dave Gilmore, I don't want to keep going on about it, but these boats are so technical, and to come in and take over the wing trim, that was a really slick rounding there. And obviously Quentin and Jason, you know, are so slick in their roles as flight controller and driver on board the boat, but still looks very, very stable there. As we see, looking into the pack, USA, they're fallen well back. Emirates GBR have moved forward through the fleet, so it's going to be the tale of managing to convert an average race into a good one.
And the Australians have now picked up a penalty.
That's like the professional foul, isn't it, Hannah? They're trying to get as wide as possible early on the course to then make the top of the course easier to sail. Lisa Darmanin will probably see that down in the water. Lisa, your Australians pushing the limit on the rules there to maximise the width of the course early.
Well, I think the previous one, they skipped the boundary by about 5 meters. So I don't know if it was completely intentional, but they're definitely pushing the limits, because that previous lap, they were able to do one less maneuver, and that's how they overtook the French. So everyone's pushing to the limit, whether that's the right height or the boundaries. That's how you're going to win out here at SailGP. But, you know, Los Gallos just look so smooth and sailing their own race and running away with it here.
No question about it. The Spanish are way out in front on the final leg here as they cross over, and everything has just gone textbook to them. Not riding the boat, as Stevie pointed out, as high, but they've got a massive lead right now, and they are on their way to a big victory here in race number 5, the first race on Super Sunday.
See a huge split in the fleet for the first 3 boats. They're gone down the road, first 4 even, really, as we see the Bonds Flying Rouge. They're coming back across a long, long way behind the Spanish, though. They just look so fast. And this is quite a big racetrack. The racetrack in Rio, the racetrack in Sydney, yes, we had lighter winds. Yes, it was a bit gusty and shifty. It was smaller. You got a chance to open your accelerator, feed some fuel in, and just show how fast it can go. And right now, that Spanish boat is looking beautifully sailed.
Well, of all the beautiful views in Bermuda, this is the finest one for a sailor, and right now it is Los Gallos. They are staring down at the finish line here in race number 5. Los Gallos, Spain, the winners here 2 years ago, have started off their campaign on Super Sunday with a massive victory, which will put them ahead of the Bonds Flying Rouge, who they were tied with coming into today, and they will cruise to the finish as Los Gallos will pick up the victory in race number 5. And the Emirates winning moment will go the way of the Spanish.
Good start, and of course, you know, the thing that's important to remember is the top 3 boats will go into that winner-takes-all race. So it doesn't matter if Spain and Australia are 15, 20 points ahead of everyone else. The third-place boat's still going to get one shot at taking the event win. So for France, for Emirates GBR, and for, you know, teams like North Star Canada, USA, who are having a tough one here in the first race of the Sunday here, they can get to the final. They'll be right in with a shot to win this event.
Bonds Flying Rouge will slot into second place, so they'll continue to add points to them. So Stevie has got to think, and Hannah, it's got to be almost a lock now for Spain and Australia, because of the points they amassed coming into today, and now they pick up another 10 and 9 points respectively.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know when these teams kind of switch from that focus from racing the fleet races to then actually trying to understand the course better for that final. But I think you've got to be picking up confidence if you're still winning races on day 2.
Yeah, here we go, Artemis, big move here, middle of our screen. They're going to enter that circle. They have the right of way on Emirates GBR. Very difficult manoeuvre coming for Artemis here. They've got to stay falling if they want to be ahead of the Brits.
So France will pick up third, and now the battle on for those very valuable points. And remember, both these teams trying to punch their ticket. Artemis probably not going to get there, but really slows down Emirates GBR.
They just stay foiling though, Todd. Magic. Well, is he foiling? Isn't he foiling? Oh, that's a bit of age and experience there. Draper gave a little pump out on the wing, unloaded the boat there, and it just popped back up. Draper and Maloney, they've got a few hours on the tools there, and that was magic work getting that Swedish boat back on the foils.
This is the umpires. Penalty Denmark, not giving room at the boundary. We go behind USA.
So it'll be Emirates GBR that will salvage 5th place. That'll be some valuable points for them. More importantly, the US finishes way back, so that will help their cause indeed. And then you have the Italians coming in 6th, and then it'll be Explorer Switzerland in 7th.
Todd, I think seeing Artemis get that 4th place, it's a special weekend, sad weekend for a lot of the sailing community. Andrew Bart Simpson, he was part of the Artemis team, lost his life unfortunately, and we remember him, the Andrew Simpson Sailing Foundation. This is the weekend where we remember him.
Thank you, Stevie. Mubadala, Brazil now finishes in 8th, and it'll be Germany in 9th place. As we go down on the water, and Spain, the big winners on the first race of the day in Super Sunday, we chat with Diego Botín. Diego, what a way to start off Super Sunday. How did you find that start box with the extra boats that were out there today? A full 12 inside a very chaotic start box.
Yeah, well, it's obviously that we're tagging high to the fleet, and all the fleet tagged quite early, and yeah, the top was open and we got a good angle into Mark 1.
Diego, appreciate the time. Wish you the best of luck in the next 2 races. We'll get back to work. Meanwhile, we'll turn our attention back out on the water. The USA, Stevie, we always say you can have one bad race. This might be theirs. This has to be theirs, Hannah's, because they cannot afford another bad race outside the top 6.
Yeah, that's right. A really tough race for them. So they're going to have to pick it up for the next race and see what they can do.
So the USA will come in 10th place. They will pick up a lone point. 11th place will go to Rockwell, Denmark. They will finish off in 11th. So race number 5 is complete with 2 more races still to go as we take a look at the event standings as it is right now. It is Los Gallos on top with 42 points. Bonds Flying Roos of Australia sit in second on 41. Then a big gap to the United States. They do salvage that 1 point. 2 points clear now of Germany Deutsche Bank, who finished in 9th place. Emirates GBR did themselves a solid getting that 5th. They bounce up now into 5th on 25 points, even with North Star Canada. So we'll see how that plays out. This next race will be absolutely huge. Take a look at the Emirates fly time. No surprise here that Los Gallos getting it done. What a great job by Diego Botín, Florian Triddle, and that crew. They just absolutely mastered this course today on tricky conditions. Came out there, did not miss a beat. Well, after sweeping the final day of competition at the last event in Rio, the Bonds Flying Roos, they moved into first place in the overall standings, and that earned them a visit from one of their owners. None other than Ryan Reynolds himself made a cameo in Bermuda, and Deadpool went sailing.
They line it up, they're winding it into the perfect place on the start line. How's your timing, Tom Slingsby? On the money at the bottom of the line. Deadpool and Tom Slingsby are going to be first at Mark 1.
Ryan Reynolds on the back of the picture as they approach mark number 1 at speeds close to 85 kilometers an hour.
This one's a good one. You get low and hold on. A lot of G-force in this one.
As they hit mark number 1, the whole shot goes the way of the Bonds Flying Roos and their co-owner.
Turning up. Angle. Slowing the turn.
Good chance he loses the Crumpet nickname after that start.
Slowing up. The slowest. Level. Yeah. My wheel. Okay, so you just follow me. Oh Christ. All good. We're about to do a race. Oh, you don't need to do it.
Ultimate spins it inside. Outridge has seen an opportunity.
Ryan Reynolds brings the Bonds Flying Roos home. He could be the new Lucky Charm.
One race, one win.
And it'll be a punch to the finish line and an Emirates winning moment going the way of Ryan Reynolds, the Bonds Flying Roos, as they bring it home on their last practice race of the day. It may not be an Academy Award, but it is a win for the Aussies.
Get on, isn't it?
That's crazy. My God, the world needs to know more about this. That's crazy.
You didn't win a race before you jumped on, actually.
There you go. I guess I gotta do it. I'll be in there tomorrow, guys. I'm in shock. That's what that is. I'm full body shock.
Hey guys, thank you so much. Really, truly, like greatest experience I've ever had on a boat, and I've had a lot on a boat, and that was wild. I will probably need to get to the hotel and let Hugh Jackman know that I did, in fact, wet myself.
Super Sunday rolls on from the Apex Group Bermuda Sail Grand Prix. On the Great Sound, this is the Rolex SailGP Championship.
Okay, nice, yeah.
Are you at the gate?
Perth was absolutely devastating for the Black Foils. You know, when you have a crash like that, it's really important for the leaders of the team to, I guess, look after the younger, less experienced members of the team. Bonding off the water, getting to know the people that, you know, you trust with your life on the water is just as important as the day's training on the F50.
If you bring a new person into any group, whether it's a sports team or in business or whatever, it takes time to immerse them into how you do things, and then for that new combination to work as a unit, because one thing's for sure is now we need to find what the new 6 of us are, and we're figuring that out.
When I was growing up, sailing as a kid, I watched Blair and Pete winning gold medals on TV, so it's pretty cool to be somehow under his wing. He's definitely the type of leader or type of person I look up to.
Welcome to the first day of racing here in Auckland.
Oh yeah, we're in New Zealand, and doesn't it just show? Look at these crowds here to support the Blackfoils.
We didn't have a very good event in Perth, and we all had a point to prove that we are one of the best teams in the league. So we were kind of going to come out swinging in Auckland.
Everyone wants to see a winning team out of the gates, and I guess the question is, how much are they willing to push?
And as they approach mark number 1 here in race number 3, Phil Robertson going awfully close.
Waves crash underneath, sound like thunder speaking. Flying carbon machines, driven by the world's best. Yes, powered by nature, powered by nature. We are SailGP.
Back in beautiful Bermuda, we are 45 seconds away from race number 6, the penultimate race with one more fleet race to go. Everyone trying to accumulate as many points as possible. Right now, it is Spain out in front. The Australians sit in second. The Americans holding on to that third and final transfer spot into the event final. But the Germans, Great Britain and Canada are nipping at their heels. And here we go, Stevie. The dance begins. Where would you like to be?
Well, look at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. We've got 16.2 kilometres an hour. It's dropped off a little bit, but they should be able to pop on the foils. I love where the Bonds Flying Roos are at the moment. Massive amount of space. North Star are coming through. If they're not too late, North Star are well positioned. Top of the line's going to close down for the Spanish here. Italy are going to have control of that. Rotterdam, Denmark come through the middle. Rolex pole predictors on the Swiss. They need a win in this race. Here we go. Line's going to go wide. Bonds Flying Roos are on fire. Oh, Slingsby's on fire out of this start. He's fast and he's going to be blasting forward on the fleet. Less distance to sail. Clean foiling. Going to be a great lead for the Aussies at Mark 1. Can North Star get their wheels back on again and race towards that final? Artemis, top of the line there, left-hand side of the screen. They were way out the back, but got foiling, and they've rolled over the top as well. Foiling is key now. The breeze has dropped right off. It's marginal conditions, Todd.
At mark number 1, it is the Bonds Flying Roos in this heavyweight bout as they counter Los Giles' win in the last race, and it is Tom Slingsby and the Australians out in front to grab the whole shot. Giles Scott and North Star Canada sit in second place, and then there's a herd of athletes all trying to track them down.
Yeah, huge for North Star, Todd. Huge moment for the Canadian team here. They need a good result if they're going to get to that final, and this could really do some good work up the fleet with Spain.
They got shut out at the line.
Spain got shut out. They looked like they were going to be shut out early. The whole fleet had migrated up a little bit. How well do the Aussies execute here?
Manoeuvre looked really easy there. They're going to have some boats tight on their hip there. I think the course has opened up a little bit here, so we'll see some boats manoeuvring early to try and find some better pressure. We should see some more manoeuvres before they get down to gate 2, but a huge moment for North Star Canada being at the front of the pack here.
Yeah, look at that replay, bottom right there. We see the Spanish, they're just not entitled to room in there, so Diego, hey, possibly could have seen that he wasn't going to get in a bit earlier and then maybe slowed up a bit earlier and come through later, a bit like Artemis did. Anyway, easier said than done, isn't it? But yeah, heroes in one race, zeros in this one right now.
Save the asset as Diego Botín in Spain just hit a quick U-turn and they reset, so they find themselves at the back of the pack. We'll keep an eye on that, see how fast they work their way up through the fleet. But right now it is all Bonds Flying Roos.
Fast here, guys. We feel quite low on the foil here, guys.
Adding some milk.
So he's just saying, let's make sure we keep the speed in the boat. I think as soon as it goes a bit lighter, you've got to drive the boat, push it. Good leadership there from Giles, getting his voice, keeping it positive on board. But yeah, lift the boat a bit higher, but to do that, you've got to keep the boat going fast. Good result for the Swiss at the moment as well. So it could really do some change into the overall leaderboard here.
And there is Giles Scott of North Star Canada, the two-time Olympic gold medalist in the Finn class, always with the calm voice. They've got North Star Canada in the conversation. Can they get big points here and move into the top 3?
Well set for the moment in that race to the final, I'd imagine, points-wise, because they were right in the mix. And the British back in 7th. Rotterdam, Denmark, they're in the pack in 5th, but they need to really make some points now. And USA, look, middle of our screen. Well, the US are having a difficult one. Here we go, event standings right now.
Oh,
North Star Canada, that battle of the North Americans there. It would be the Canadians that just sneak in, but we've still got another fleet race after this one to do.
These are the kind of conditions here where you don't want to have too many manoeuvres back to back. The risk here is if you compress your manoeuvres too close together, you end up falling off the foil. Looks really light out of that manoeuvre there for Emirates GBR.
Dylan Fletcher at the wheel for Emirates GBR, Season 5 champions. He's also an Olympic gold medalist.
Lisa, when the breeze starts dropping off like this, how much do the sailors get nervous about the foil selection and being on these high-speed boards?
Well, the thing is, the decision is made so early in the morning that you kind of know what you're going to get. And yesterday, the issue we had was they had too much power in the 24-metre wing. So, we're right on edge. But with this upgrade with the T-foils that we've seen over the last 12 months, they are, even though we're a little bit under spec, they are incredible. They get a little bit more glide than the old L-foils. So the teams that have really nailed those T-foils and know how to optimise them seem like the teams that are getting away with it today.
We come back on board the Canadians. Well, they've definitely found the space. I just think the real priority is find space, get clear wind, because if someone's blocking your wind, you've got less potential horsepower. So the key is finding space. North Star have tried to manoeuvre early. Slightly odd place to manoeuvre there, but maybe they're seeing more breeze in the water. I thought they might have stretched all the way towards the ley line to try and make them up with no more. Yeah, I think you are out of phase, Giles, unfortunately. They're going to have a bit of a struggle here. Just would have pushed a bit wider if it was me. Sailed up towards that ley line, just trying to follow Australia in. Keep it a bit simple.
And 2-1, rounding up.
I think it kind of shows that the day type sort of changed a little bit. Normally we see these boats really push all the way to the boundaries, but when the shift range gets a little bit bigger, when that wind direction changes a little bit more, there are more options, which opens the door to tap in the middle of the course, but it means you have to be right with your decision making.
Yeah, as we can see here, Artemis. Oh, and Artemis and North Star. Oh, that's definitely going to be a penalty on Artemis, but it'll be cleared off instantly because it'll just be a lead change penalty. Maybe pushing a little bit hard there. Got to get calm again.
This is the umpires. Penalty Sweden, port attack boat not keeping clear. Go behind Canada. Yeah, penalty clear.
Not going to hurt them, you see. That's the trouble with that one. And then North Star, by rushing that manoeuvre, they're now off the foils. So they've dropped back in the pack here. They've dropped back to fourth. These points will be crucial. The Swiss here will get themselves in with a chance of it. The USA team, they're up to 7, Todd.
More importantly, they're up to 7. They are 2 spots ahead of Emirates GBR, but the team they need to worry about right now is Canada, who currently hold down that 3rd and final transfer position. Remember, after the 7 fleet races, only the top 3 teams on points will move on to the winner-take-all event final here in Bermuda.
Yeah, they're off the foils here. We see we're on board with... we're on board with North Star here, and you see they've got the right of way, but they end up pushing a little bit close, and then they maybe have to spin a bit quick. I mean, maybe not to be fair, but they just end up off the foils, and they're still paying the consequence of that right now.
Big runner off.
Yeah, that was a big sort of rush tack. It got a little bit messy at the top, and I think if you get messy at the top, you're going to pay for the next 2-3 minutes to try and get yourself back on the foils, build your speed again. But we can see it's easier said than done. USA, Emirates, Great Britain, they're all right back in the pack, so no one wants to get in this final.
Stock up, stock down right now for the USA. To stock down, they got themselves into 7th place, as you noted just moments ago, Stevie. They quickly have dropped back to 10th, and Emirates GBR is going with them. They sit in 9th.
And Spain, who looked absolutely imperious in the race before, they looked almost unplayable, and they're in last place. So yeah, it's not an easy day out there, but it's made an awful lot easier if you can execute a good start. Yeah, Canada still off the foils, Todd. This is a nightmare for North Star.
Wide wing. Yeah, wide hard.
Well, with North Star unable to get up on the foils, and now they've got one hole in the air. That's great news, not only for the USA, but for Germany Deutsche Bank, who now find themselves in that 3rd and final transfer position.
Yeah, this was hard to watch, isn't it? As we see the Swiss as well, they're having a good one. They're going to have a shot going into this final race. Explorer Swiss, well, new branding, new livery on that Swiss boat, and well, this is the new look Swiss boat as well. They're performing really well in these lighter conditions.
Explorer Swiss, Sebastian Schneider at the wheel, a 3-time Olympian, 12 national titles to his credit as he tries to get his team into a position. They're currently in 5th overall. Right now, everyone is still chasing the team out in front, the Bonds Flying Roos.
Yeah, I love this Oracle Cloud stuff, Hannah. Look at that, Deutsche Bank 10th to 5th. I mean, that ability to overtake so hard, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's so much easier when you're ahead, but that ability to climb your way through the fleet, that can save your regatta. I don't really feel like we've seen Germany Deutsche Bank that much at the front this weekend, but they've just been really consistent, picking their way through the fleet, sailing really nicely.
And coming up in 3, lift us back, 2.
Eric Kosegarten-Heil in his 3rd season with the team. There they are coming in right there at the center of your screen. They'll make the right-hand turn at the DP World Gate. They currently sit in 6th place, 1 spot ahead of Phil Robertson and Red Bull Italy.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Eric is a 2-time Olympic 49er bronze medalist there. We see Canada have gone all the way back to 12th. They were 2nd halfway up that beat. Spain are getting themselves back into a point-scoring position, and USA are potentially going to drop out of the points here, or they might just hang on to 10th. But it just shows you mistakes in these conditions hammer you, and the reality is Canada made a mistake, and the punishment, I think, is a bit harsh for the mistake. It wasn't very much of a little error. They came with the foils, but they just did it in the wrong place at the wrong time. And
Canada, just moments ago, we were talking about Canada being in the top 3, and to see these points, they are now not even close to it. It's at 25 points. That will put them in 8th overall.
I think I'd be feeling pretty hard done by if I was on the Canadian team right now. Just, they were fouled by Artemis, and it's just no chance to get back on the foil from where they were.
Here comes the Bonds Flying Ruse. They are having no problems out there today. They got the whole shot. They led at mark number 1, and they bring it home not only for the win here, but the Emirates winning moment for the 3rd time goes the way of the Bonds Flying Ruse at the Apex Group Bermuda Sail Grand Prix.
Yeah, great positioning there, but the start for Australia, they look well set up with about a minute to go. That possibly would have been a relatively relaxed feeling start for Slingsby, that one. He would have known from early he was well placed. As we see now, this is a real battle. Emirates GBR, Red Bull Italy, Los Gallos, the US, all of them are potentially going to be in with a shot at the final, but all of them making it hard for themselves. The German team have done well. Spain, it's not such a disaster for Spain, like as you sort of alluded to beforehand. They've got 1 foot in the final already, really. But for the Swiss, this second place here, Explorer Swiss bringing it home across the finish line in 2nd, massive result for them. That on the points will give them a shot. 1 more of those in the next race, and they'll have a real shot of making the final here in Bermuda.
Funny thing about momentum, as it starts to build for some of these teams, you've got Explorer Swiss and the Bonds Flying Ruse safely in here in race number 6 as the rest of the teams try to scrap for the final points that are available before we enter the 3rd and final race of the day. It looks like France is going to hold on for 3rd.
At least I'm quite interested. A lot of the teams seem to be doing a lot of manoeuvres at the top and not just pushing wide to that sort of starboard ley line, the right-hand ley line. Is there a reason? Is there a lot less wind over there or something?
Yeah, the wind is changing quite dramatically. These clouds come over. It's getting a little bit dark and stormy as the day goes on, so it becomes more fickle, more patchy, and you've got to just find the breeze. It's almost worth sailing more manoeuvres to make sure you're in pressure for that final approach.
Okay, Lisa, well, there's at least 2 more races before you can get that Gosling's dark and stormy, and I can assure you of that, but the breeze looks pretty good.
So here comes Germany. They will secure a top 5 position as they cross the line, and they now have a firm grasp on a top 3 position with 1 race to go. Rockwell, Denmark will come in. They will finish in 6th place, and now the battle is really on. Now, this is where it gets exciting, and Hannah, you're going to crunch some numbers with us. We're going to figure this thing out because you've got Red Bull Italy coming in. Looks like they've got a firm control of 7th place, but then it's Emirates GBR. It's the USA, and it's also Spain still in the mix.
Yeah, I think there's a lot riding on this next race, isn't there? And it's not necessarily the easiest day today to make sure that you're at the front of the fleet. So the team's going to have to debrief quickly and work out what their strategy is for the next race.
Hold on for a minute.
Looks like Red Bull Italy will hold on for 7th place, and look at this trio. It's Emirates GBR, Los Gallos Spain, and the US SailGP team all scrambling for points.
Yeah, that's really tight, isn't it? Emirates GBR are going to be able to hold everyone up high. I don't think any of those teams will be able to get to the foil quite. It's going to be a case of just getting the H1 and tickling it across the finish line. Emirates GBR, they do get it done. 8th, Spain in 9th, and US SailGP team, well, that's bad, but God,
1 point.
You've got to feel for North Star.
Yeah.
I mean, that I say should have been a 2nd. I don't think you can ever say it should have been anything, but they had every opportunity for that to be a really good result.
So as we bring race number 6 to a conclusion, we can now get a good picture of what it looks like for the top 3 teams and who will be moving on with 1 more race to go. Remember, it's 10 points for a win in each race. So you've got the Bonds Flying Ruse safely in on 51 points. Los Gallos looking pretty good at 44. And Germany Deutsche Bank 3 points clear of the US SailGP team with Explorer Swiss, Emirates GBR, and Red Bull Italy still with some work to do to see if they want to get into the top 3. This next race will tell it all. As we take a look at the Emirates fly time, 100% to the winners for the 3rd time here in Bermuda. The Bonds Flying Ruse get it done. What a job by Tom Slingsby and company. That gets them the Emirates winning moment. Again, the Bonds Flying Ruse, they won race number 2, they won race number 4, and now they win race number 6 with 1 race to go here before the event final. Well, the final fleet race is coming up, but before that, we want to bring your attention to a very cool project here in Bermuda, as the league is not only reducing their carbon footprint on this pristine location, but also bringing about new technology in the form of a portable wind turbine in partnership with the Apex Group.
We're here today at the Apex Bermuda Sail Grand Prix, and we've worked with Apex to put up a 20-metre wind turbine here in Bermuda.
For us, it's very exciting to show what the art of the possible is here in Bermuda, which is our founding location and where our business is based, and really extend that across the globe with a partner like SailGP.
Welcome and thank you for coming to the Impact Activity B today. SailGP is powered by nature, and quite literally, you can see behind us we're harvesting it here in Bermuda, and it's really exciting.
The basic design was to make it portable, obviously, but to make it installed as quickly and as simply as possible. You can come in on the Monday and you're generating power on the Tuesday. And the same when you de-rig it. You can take it down in 2 days and you leave nothing.
We've generated about 222 kilowatts, so that's been fluctuations in wind. If you were running it for 15 kilowatts maximum every day, 360 kilowatt hours, and then you can look at the diesel savings that would be. Over a 7-day period, you could save about 700 litres of diesel, so quite a lot of diesel we're saving here. And
now we're part of the story in actuating that, turning that into a reality. So to me, it's awe-inspiring to see people like us that are passionate about outcomes and that actually coming into action and coming together.
Well, we're down to the final fleet race here at the Apex Group Bermuda Sail Grand Prix, and then the field will be cut to only the top 3 teams. Germany Deutsche Bank is in the hunt, currently sitting in 3rd place overall. Short time ago, Lisa Darman caught up with them.
Eric, it's full on out here. Every point's counting. You're in the battle for the final. What are you going to have to do this race to solidify it?
I think getting off the line is a good beginning. To stay on the foils and to get into the windward gate. Is very close to the shore. But we managed. We're in the 2nd race now, so really stoked to get into the 3rd race.
It's really hard with the small foils as the breeze is dropping. How hard is it to keep the boat foiling?
Depending on where you are, I guess. If you're in the front, it's a bit easier, and if you're in the pack, it's hard.
Awesome. Well, good luck for this final race, and hopefully see you in the final.
Yeah, thank you.
So, Hannah, this is big pressure now for Eric Coastguard and Heil and Germany Deutsche Bank. They've got to perform not only in this race, but they got to make sure this start absolutely sticks when that line goes white.
Yeah, that's right. And the start is so important, so lining up well is going to be key.
So here we go, the final minute here on the final fleet race, and then the field will be cut to just the top 3. There is the leaderboard as it stands right now. The USA is 3 points behind Germany. So, Hannah, by my math, the Americans have to finish ahead of Germany and hope that someone finishes in between them.
And it's quite a tricky day for that. You've got to be able to sail your own boat really well, and it's very hard to control the others, so don't envy the position they're in right now.
All right, Stevie, here we go. This will be a little chaotic. The wind has dropped off just a little bit, but this is going to be a good one. Early back to the line is Denmark.
Yeah, Wimro's bottom left-hand corner is showing us 15.2, so that's 1 kilometre down on the last one. They're all comfortably forward from there. It shows the US having the Rolex pole predictor, but I don't see how they're going to wiggle through from there. Again, I like where the bombs flying roos are. Germany, Deutsche Bank should be foiling at the gun. Top of the line, Rottweiler early to me. Emirates GBR up and foiling. Here come the Germans. Eric Heil could have this one lined up. He winds it up at the bottom of the line. Beautiful by the Germans.
Early start penalty, Denmark.
Yeah, they looked early for a long way out there. That's
Delayed starters at Switzerland,
booth.
France, Sweden.
Team don't have to drop behind those delayed starters, France and Switzerland. Switzerland, disaster in their race to the final, but this could be the moment that this German team get back to the form we saw at the end of the 2025 season. Magic start by Eric Heil just when he needed it, and look who's bearing down over the shoulder. It's the Aussies, it's the Spanish, the big guns are coming to play.
Could be a preview of what we'll see in the final at mark number 1. It is Germany Deutsche Bank that gets the whole shot with the Bonds flying roos in 2nd. Here comes Giles Scott and North Star Canada and Los Gallos Spain on the outside.
It's going to be hard for the Canadians there. They're going to start to get the disturbed wind off the Spanish, and you're going to then have to think about manoeuvring back into some more disturbed wind. So got to be a little bit patient after Mark 1, accelerate away from that disturbed wind, and then get yourself going. Germany now, it's a case of execution. Can you stay calm when you just know that good basics are going to get you in the final? But that's easier said than done.
I think they would have been happier to manoeuvre a little bit earlier there and just make sure they're right in front of the Australians.
See there, so look at the points. At the moment, Germany are in by a long shot, but we are early in the race. Crucial positioning is where you can get to gate 2. USA struggling a little bit here. North Star Canada, well, they were really good at Mark 1, but they've possibly fallen off the foils. They still show us 4th. They are foiling again, but those first 3 boats are gone down the road. Right-hand corner there, 65 kilometres an hour. Well, compared to a boat that's not foiling, which will be doing less than 30, you're doing double the speed. Massive gains for those first 3 boats.
As they approach the DP World Gate, gate number 2, it is still Germany Deutsche Bank out in front, but look how fast the Bonds Flying Roos are coming in, and they will split the course.
So this right now, Hannah, this is dress rehearsal of the final, isn't it? Because these 3 are gone. They're basically racing each other right now, so we could learn an awful lot about what might play out in that final race.
Yeah, and I think if you're the Australians or the Spanish, you're definitely into kind of learning the course. They're so confident in these conditions. I think for the Germans, they're just going to have to sail really cleanly, make sure they don't drop off the foil, make any stupid mistakes, because they're still there having to fight for that position.
So Lisa, down on the water, how much will we see any kind of wind change in the course of the next 20, 30 minutes? Because the final is coming up after this race concludes. So are they getting to really a dress rehearsal, as Stevie said, of what the conditions will be like as well?
I'm not expecting the wind to drop too much, but what I'm expecting to do is become more variable. So it's already becoming more challenging, more patchy throughout the course, and that's only going to get more. The only positive for the final is less boats on the race course, so less disturbed air, but yeah, it's still going to be fantastic racing for the F50s, and we wanted to make it a little bit difficult for them.
So it is Germany out in front, Australia and Spain, the top 3, and right now on the points, that is how it stands with those 3 teams in the top 3 positions. Stevie, I look at the US SailGP team, they had such a great first day. Remember, they won the first race of the day. In race number 2, they finished in 5th. In race number 3, they dropped back to 7th, but in race 4, bounced back nicely to finish in 3rd, but Super Sunday has not gone their way.
No, I mean, you know, the reality of the US SailGP team at the moment is they're fantastic starters. When they get out in front, they genuinely do well. If you look at the stats, they don't overtake boats. So pretty much where they get to Mark 1 is where they end up. Now, they've had Taylor Canfield, who's been an absolute rock-star starter all season so far, but he's maybe not had his best day. I don't think he's had a bad day, but he's just not been sort of brilliant as he has on other events. And as of yet, they're not great at overtaking boats and moving through the fleet. The Germans here have overtaken a lot of boats this regatta. They've been good at finding that space on the racecourse and converting a bad one into a half-decent one or a good one, as they are right now.
Spain has overtaken the Bonds Flying Roos, as they will pick up those points if they can maintain that position. But tell you what, Hannah, this is going to be a fantastic final with tricky wind conditions, as Lisa Darman has reported. But these 3 teams, you just think the way Germany is sailing, they've got a lot of momentum here on Sunday.
Yeah, they do, and I mean, that start was a great example of that. They really nailed their time distance at the bottom of the line. I think if you look really closely, you can see a few more wobbles on the German boat compared to the Aussies and the Spanish, but you know, they've got a fantastic lead at the moment.
Stevie, if they win this race, the 7th race, the final race of the fleet, it will be the 3 winners today on Super Sunday that will square off in the final.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be all on. I mean, at least I sort of alluded to it, there'll be less boats on the course. I still kind of like the Spanish. They've not had 2 very good starts. I still think they've just made an overtake on the Bonds Flying Roos here. Bonds Flying Roos missed the manoeuvre, and I still think Spain, if they can get off the start line, are pretty quick. But yeah, I mean, the Germans are sailing great. What was interesting on the points, it'll be interesting to see where, here we go, great, perfect timing. So yes, those 3 look through, but if you look at 4th, all the way down to 8th, there's just 2 points in it. Now, we think of this is a race to the grand final in Abu Dhabi, yeah? So you're getting points all season. There's nothing in it, and these points, they're 4th overall for Canada here for North Star, would be a massive result if they could get it.
Spain picking up a penalty there. Just to your point, Spain's worst performance all weekend is 9th. And that came in the last race where they finished in race number 6. Had a problem at the start, obviously getting shut out. But 9th, you could throw that one away and say the rest of the weekend was a huge success.
Yeah, I mean, you know, any of the top 3. If you get to the top 3, it's great. But you've got to remember as well that should North Star get home in 4th, they've actually started really well. They'd started quite poorly early season. You know, they'll be thinking, okay, we've made some huge gains here. Of course, you want to be in the top 3, and they'll rue that moment in race
with Artemis.
Yeah, the race before, you know, where they fell off the foils. But that's the game you're playing, isn't it? And I just think for Emirates GBR, you know, maybe not the imperious form we've seen, but they're back in the game a little bit. But you've got to start analysing what are Australia and Spain doing, because they're just making finals relentlessly.
Stand by.
So they take you on board Emirates GBR, the defending champions from last year, who started the season off so well. But ever since Brazil, Stevie, they have not been the same team. Hannah, this is your former team. Showed some good signs there today. They started off with a 5th place, and they bounced back with an 8th on this 6th race, excuse me, and then here they are currently sitting in 5th. So that would be their best performance, equaling what they did the first race.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll be disappointed with this weekend, but like Stevie said, it's all about racing to the grand final at the end of the season. So working out any demons that you might have with some venues or sailing the boat and just keep them going, really.
So it's Australia, Spain, and Germany right now. There you see the points, a massive lead for the Germans ahead of Emirates GBR, who are 9 points back. So barring a major penalty, those will be the 3 that will face off in the final race today here at the Apex Group Bermuda Sail Grand Prix.
Yeah, well, you know, I think this is, we're looking at a very clinical performance. Kevin Pepinade, the wing trimmer, come in this season. This will be the first time he's made a final with the German team, so it'll be a really good bonding experience for this team. They started the season, you know, perhaps inevitably with some crew changes a little bit off where they were at the end of season 5, but this is the team we were seeing towards the end of last year, so very promising signs for them, because they're sailing away from the 2-class boats in the fleet right now.
It's going to be some gas on the tack. Let's press hard.
Just got a couple of boats coming in.
1, 2, 1. Probably each one.
Going quite slowly into this manoeuvre here. The Germans at the top of the screen on that right-hand boundary. It'll be interesting to see whether they do manage to... No, I think there was no chance they were going to stay on the foil out of that manoeuvre.
Yeah, neutral diff.
I think far enough ahead in Tom, they'll be able to stay relatively calm and still be pretty good for the final.
We go up. Stay H1, there's no foiling in the gas.
Real battle in the right-hand side of our screen for 2nd and 3rd. We see Slingsby wound the speed up, nails the foiling manoeuvre, splits away from the Spanish. So 1 manoeuvre left for the Australians, it should be. Los Gallos are going to have to do 2 perfect manoeuvres if they hope to stay ahead of the Aussies. Okay, he's going to spin the boat here. We heard Diego there, way faster turn. They're going to go off the right-hand corner of our screen. They're going to come slingshotting back on. Watch this boat turn.
1, turning. It's way better.
Oh, hang on.
He warned him.
Well, he liked it, didn't he? Way better. He loved it. He loved that fast turn. So they're learning on the job, coaching around the course. Of course, the coaches can talk to them. So you've got to be getting better. You've got to be learning these adaptable conditions, Han.
Well, I think one of the conclusions from yesterday was the Spanish generally rotate the boat a little bit slower than some of the others. So the fact that they're able to adapt today, I think is really important. They have to keep learning as they go.
As they come to the line in the 7th and final fleet race here in Bermuda, take a bow, Germany, Deutsche Bank. Eric, Coastal Garten Heil and Company, you win the final race here and punch your ticket into the event final. Your Emirates winning moment goes the way of the Germans.
I think that's a really good job by Eric. Anna Bart at the back there, strategist, you know, picking your way through this big fleet. But now, of course, it's going to look a little bit like this. We've had a 3-boat race almost in this one, and then the rest have been some way back. And I think they've got to reset now for the final. You expect all teams to be able to have a perfect start because there's not many people blocking. So it'll be a real test of strength in this one. Because it's the first time we've seen the Aussies make a couple of handling mistakes. A couple of manoeuvres weren't perfect.
I like Lisa's point down on the water. It's going to be interesting. The conditions should be nearly the same, but only 3 boats, Stevie. There's nowhere to hide. Vaughn's Flying Ruse will finish with a solid 3rd place, and they are in as well.
Yeah, another final for the Aussies.
Yep.
All right, it's not maybe the perfect day, but you've only got to go and win this next race, and it'll feel pretty perfect.
I'll tell you what could have been, when you look at North Star Canada, they're going to come across and finish in 4th place. They were in the bracket. We saw them on the left side of our screen in the top 3 position, but that one maneuver, that one incident with Artemis cost them. They'll finish 4th here in race 7.
They will, but this is more like the North Star Canada we expected to see in season 6. So, yeah, they should be disappointed about that one race, and they'll be gutted not to be in the final, but they should leave here now thinking, okay, right, we've got some good learnings.
Yep.
We're better, we've shown people what we're all about. Let's move on for the rest of the season.
Just staying high here.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for them on Super Sunday. Canada finishing 12th back-to-back in races 5 and 6 before getting this 4th here in race number 7.
As I say, it can be tight on the overall points. Remember that, you know, that those overall points at this event of who finishes 3rd, well, we know 3rd, but who finishes 4th, 5th, 6th, all the way down, those points are absolutely crucial. So Emirates GBR might have salvaged a half-decent weekend here, despite still not sailing at the incredible level and expectation that they've set for us. And the Swiss, look at that, they're back through the fleet. They were out the back early on, got that boat going fast.
So it'll be Emirates GBR that comes across the line in 5th place, and Explorer Swiss will come in at 6th place. And the Americans really slow down here on this last leg. It looks like Red Bull Italy and DS Team France will drop right in front of them.
Wait up now. Popping it too. On popping here. Nice comeback, huh?
So the Swiss do come across the line. Good performance for them in 6th place. Right behind them, Red Bull Italy and DS Team France in 8th place, with the Americans finishing in 9th. So all the fleet racing is now complete, and we have our 3 contenders for the event final. Welcome, Germany. Deutsche Bank, they have not been in a final since Cadiz last season. And we go down on the water, and Eric Heil, Coast Guard. And Eric, congratulations on a great performance here. What has been the key for you guys as you guys made your way up through the fleet, especially on race number 6 when you were in 10th and you moved all the way up to 5th?
Yeah, I mean, we had a good feeling for the Prix here. We found a few lines down the track. So for us was just you know, staying eyes open and staying in the next gust, and that helped us quite a lot.
Eric, first event where Kevin Pepinay, the wing trimmer, new this season, first final for him, must be great for the team.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin, say it yourself. How is it? That's amazing.
Eric, appreciate your time. Congratulations. We will see you and the rest of your crew in the final.
And let's take a look at the highlights from that race. And it was Germany Deutsche Bank starting up on the foils, getting their speed up really nice and early, giving them the advantage at the start line while the rest of the fleet were trying to control their speed and work their way up the line. We know how important starting has been this weekend, and getting to Mark 1 in a good position has put you in such a strong place to lead towards the rest of the race. For me, they made a little mistake as they headed towards this boundary and allowed the Bonds Flying Rouge to get the jump on that first manoeuvre, which created this split at the bottom of the course, allowing the Bonds Flying Rouge to take that left turn. But it was all right for Germany Deutsche Bank. They managed to stretch their legs out to this left boundary, sail really nice and clean, and that gave them the lead at the top gate.
Yeah, as soon as you do get out in front like this, you have that bit more space, but we know these teams like to fight, and this was a pretty good dress rehearsal, I thought, with 3 boats, fighting it out pretty hard in that race to the final, you know. So Germany have got the momentum, they've got the form going into the final, but you don't bet against the Spanish or the Aussies, do you, when the pressure comes on?
Take a look at the Emirates fly time. It goes the way once again to Los Gallos, Spain. They go 98.3% as they stay on the foils, and they finish race number 7 in 2nd place. Well done by Diego Botín and Florian Truttel, doing a great job getting that boat home. So 7 fleet races now complete here in beautiful Bermuda, and here's how it plays out. The Bonds Flying Rouge, 59 points. Los Gallos, 53. Germany Deutsche Bank goes 43 as they get 9 points clear of Explorer Swiss. Emirates GBR and the USA team just finished 4th, 5th, and 6th respectively, with North Star Canada dropping precipitously down to 7th place on 32 points. So lessons to be learned there, and they will now look to New York City. So it all comes down to this, the event final here on the Great Sound here at the Apex Group Bermuda Sail Grand Prix, part of the Rolex SailGP Championship. It is going to be quite the showdown. The conditions are ripe for a great showing. It will be the Germans, Germany Deutsche Bank, the Bonds Flying Rouge of Australia, and Los Gallos, Spain, that'll battle it out in beautiful conditions with a sold-out crowd. We'll have that when we return to Bermuda. So as the teams now head back to shore, those who are not participating in the top three, they will start looking and decrane and take the boat apart and get ready for New York City coming up. That event, obviously, May 30th and 31st in New York City. But for the three teams that are competing in the event final, there's one more race to do. And again, it will be Germany, Deutsche Bank, the Bonds Flying Roos of Australia, and Los Gallos, Spain. And we check in now with the coach of Los Gallos, Simone Salvo. Simone, what is your advice for Diego and Florian out on the water? What are you seeing as far as the numbers to tell you where you want to send your team?
Hello, Stevie. The situation is very tricky today. Condition, as you've seen, is super patchy. The advice is to stay as clean as possible and stay out of troubles. So let's try to not be engaging in the start with other boats and try to do our own race if possible. We realize obviously we have speed through the whole weekend, and we try to place obviously the best tactic there. I think the guys are doing a great job, and we'll try to help as much as possible from the boot.
Simone, we heard Diego improving the tacks through the race, turning the boat a little bit quicker. Are you constantly analysing against other teams, or is that what the crew feel on the boat?
Yeah, we have the team, a part of the team working remotely that is analysing other teams and putting together data that obviously are very useful and give the feedbacks to the guys almost live between races. And obviously they are doing a really nice job on self-analysing themselves in the little time between races.
Simone, appreciate your time. Muchas gracias. We wish you the best of luck here in the event final.
Thank you very much.
So it all comes down to this, one race for the top prize here at the Apex Group Bermuda Sail Grand Prix. Who will it be? Spain, Australia, or Germany that reigns supreme here on the Great Sound?
Waves crash underneath, sound like thunder speaking. Flying carbon machines, driven by the world's best. Yes, powered by nature, powered by nature. We are SailGP.
Bermuda is an adventurer's playground. Endless coves, beaches, and shipwrecks to explore. Relax in world-class hotels or at sea and enjoy the magic as the sun goes down on one of the many beautiful corners of the island. Bermuda is a natural amphitheater for SailGP, and sailing runs deep in its maritime history. It's more than paradise. The culture, the heritage, and the feeling. It's incomparable. On the Great Sound, there are just three teams that remain. Germany, Deutsche Bank on the left. Los Gallos, the winners here 2 years ago, and the team that leads overall the point standings here in Season 6, the Bonds Flying Roos of Australia. This will be a great showdown on the Great Sound. Contrasting styles. You have the speed of Spain, you have the precision of Australia, and Germany, Deutsche Bank carrying all kinds of momentum. Short time ago, Lisa Darmanin catching up with Tom Slingsby in the Bonds Flying Roos.
Tom, awesome day out here, obviously in the fight for the final. What's going to be the key out here?
The key out here is really going to be staying on the foils. It feels like it's puffed in a bit again now, but that race was quite light. It's been decreasing all the time. And then we have been sailing really well, and it's just a matter of executing in the final.
It looks like there's a little bit of a pattern out here, or do you think it'll all change with three boats?
It'll change with three boats. It'll be, sorry, one second, I've got people talking in my ear. I think we're going to have to, I think it'll all change. We'll have a lot more clear air. It's going to be a bit more of a boat speed race, but it's so shifty, it's going to be hitting those shifts too. Whereas in the big fleet, it's about finding a lane and keeping clear air.
All right, we'll let you get into it. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
And we neither confirm nor deny that it was Ryan Reynolds talking to Tom Slingsby's there, invited him to some posh party.
Yeah, I imagine Ryan. Well, I don't know. Ryan's one win from one race. They just need one win right now. So I imagine there would have been a little bit of coaching input coming.
The one stat that I want to talk about, Hannah, is Spain. And Stevie Morrison called this earlier in the week. They just looked faster than there was. This is their fourth final in a row. So confidence has to be with Los Gallos.
Yeah, for sure. I think they'll be feeling confident. I think each of the teams have got slightly different kind of, not priorities, but confidence levels here. If you're Germany Deutsche Bank, give it a go. What have you got to lose? But for Los Gallos, Bonds Flying Roos, they're veterans of finals. So they're going to be wanting to put everything on the line.
All right, here we go. 50 seconds to go before the line goes white. This is the event final of the Apex Group Bermuda Sail Grand Prix here on the Great Sound, the Rolex SailGP Championship. It's Australia, it's Germany, and it's Spain.
Los Gallos move back here. They manoeuvre towards the line. We'll see where they all shape up with 30 seconds to go. Deutsche Bank were the first ones to manoeuvre to the line. Spain wanted to have a bit of space. Now, there is going to be a tight start here. I quite like where the Bonds Flying Roos are. At the moment, the hunted are the Germans. They have the Rolex pole predictor on them, but I think they're there to be shot at. Australia and the Bonds Flying Roos look well positioned. Here come the Spanish. Big move by Botin. He winds it up over the top. 14 seconds to go. It's all about your timing now. Who's going to get that right? The Rolex pole predictor starts on the master, Tom Slingsby. He winds it up towards the line. Watch for them to turn it left. They all put the bow down. Speed's coming. Who's got it right? Beautiful by all three teams, but on the inside, I think it's going to be Tom Slingsby that's going to lead at Mark 1. He said it's going to be a boat speed race. Right, what do you got now, Los Gallas? Can you charge them down?
The heavyweight bout continues. Australia and Spain going toe-to-toe as they approach mark number 1. And look at the Bonds Flying Roos, plenty of room.
Yeah, it's got a big lead here, but I think the big thing, the big difference in this is you've got to be a little bit more patient early on in the race here. There is space, there is more clear air. Don't let the Australians just sail away. Right. Stay with them, wait for the mistake, push, keep making the right decision.
The decision's going to be whether you race the boats or whether you race the course. I think Tom alluded to the fact that there's more open space here, but the choice for Los Gallas is going to be, do you put pressure by just staying close to them, or do you make a strategic decision and split away from them?
Here it is. Spain's going to make the first move. Germany's going to go with them.
Yeah, I think they'll all match here. I think the crucial one's going to be gate 2. I think when they get to this next gate, Australia obviously will have the first pick. Right. So given that you've got, you know, Tom Slingsby, Tash Bryant at the back of the boat, they're used to making good decisions. So they're going to have a look at where's the most wind, how do we sail the less distance? They'll make that choice. Now, if it's an obvious decision, Spain will have to follow. But if it's even, if it's 50-50, that'll be when you roll the dice on board the Spanish boat.
As they approach gate number 2, the DP World Gate, we check in down on the water with Lisa Darman. And Lisa, is this a race where one mistake is going to determine the winner?
I think so. I mean, the Spanish and the Australians haven't made many mistakes all day, so I'm not sure we're going to see that. Being out in front is the key, but with the gate bias, that could save you 50, 100 metres. So as the wind changes, you might be able to make little gains there, so that's what you should be looking out for.
And Steve, are you surprised that everyone's opting for that lower gate? I mean, Spain and Germany are all going to follow the Australians.
Well, no, because I think they would have looked at that and said it's definitely better to turn right. So you don't ever win anything by obviously doing the wrong thing. You've got to be relentless. Now, the Spanish here, this could be a mistake. They got a little slow. They waited a bit too long for that manoeuvre. If Australia stay foiling, this will be a massive gain. Magic numbers 30. Can Waterhouse keep it up? It looks like he's going to keep it on the foils here. He's done it.
Look at the different angles.
Well, the Spanish have popped back on the foil quickly. Amazing work by Joel Rodriguez there, the flight controller. When they come back together, the Spanish will have the right of way. Spain are fast. They've got the hammer down, but the Aussies are back up to speed now. I think what we're seeing right at the moment is these top 2 boats have dropped the hammer. They're moving away. They're going fast. Look at how the boats are lent on top of them. They've got the windward hull close to the water. Windage is the thing. Spain are almost looking like they're throwing a lot of manoeuvres at them early here, Hannah.
Yeah, I think the thing that I've noticed, the difference between these two boats, the Spanish boat speed never drops quite as much as some of the others within the manoeuvre, but their top speed isn't quite as high as the Australians. So it's interesting to see how that plays out through the rest of the race.
Well, now we've got a big split, Todd, okay? So this is the first roll of the dice by the Spanish. Had they stayed with the Australians, then they'd have definitely been following them to the next gate, probably having to sail in disturbed wind. So now it's a little bit on Mother Nature.
Just so smooth the way they operate. Jason Waterhouse, Tom Slingsby, Ian Jensen. Perfection.
That was really slick, that manoeuvre. Look how much they've got the boat lent over, so much they're pushing for extra horsepower.
Let's go down on the water. She's the closest to the action. Lisa Darmanin, what do you like? Look into your crystal ball. Who made the right call on that leg?
Well, the Australians, they push wide early on, which means they're going to lay in one here, and I think that they're going to make a huge gain, whereas Los Gallas, they're going to want to turn left because that's the bias, but it's going to cost them a lot. It's a really tricky manoeuvre to pull off.
See there, can't you, Hannah? It looks so much closer to the one the Australia's going around.
Yeah, that's right, and it's even harder to pull off that manoeuvre that Los Gallas are going to have to do if they want to turn left, because they've actually dropped 1 crew member since the last race. There's only 5 people on board. You lose one of the grinders, so you've got fewer options with the wing trimming.
Now, this is a desperation move by the Spanish here, Todd. They're doing definitely the wrong thing. It doesn't mean it won't work out if they get lucky and they get a gust of wind, but this is the roll of the dice, because if they knew if they just stayed there, they're definitely going to be second, maybe third. This is a full roll of the dice by the Spanish. Have they found some magic?
They're rocking her in.
Aim high, right?
Yeah, happy to roll this down.
Yeah, doesn't look great their way. Doesn't look amazing ours either.
Ever the optimist, Tom. I don't know if you've ever watched Winnie the Pooh, but it's a bit like Eeyore being on the back of the boat, I think, in that moment there.
Debbie Downer.
Yeah, well, come on, Tom.
Look at that.
Cheer up. Anyway.
And to Lisa's point, look at the gain.
Yeah, massive gain
200
there for the Bond's Flying Ruse. And now it's just a case of setting up for a nice right turn at the bottom, leading out that way, keep the boat fast, and you're going to bring it home 2 in a row for the Australians, I'd say, from here. But mistakes can happen. They just don't tend to happen often on that Australian boat.
And that's the view from Germany Deutsche Bank as they look to the rest of the field. Good battle now for second place as the Bond's Flying Ruse have nearly 200 meters on everyone else. But look how fast the Germans are coming in at 65, 66 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, setting a fast angle to get behind. We're going to have a split at the bottom between those two, but it's really a race for second and third, I think, now, Hannah.
Yeah, it is, and that's really tightened up. I think we've seen a couple of times Los Gallos, they've taken that other gate option in finals and it's done really well for them, but obviously it wasn't to be this time.
You don't often do well doing what is definitely wrong.
Yeah, I think especially on a course like this where there are quite a lot of nodes, the breeze is shifting, it's changing a little bit, but not too much. There are definitely different race courses where you'd be happier to take that chance. We know a little bit more about this course, and it was always going to be a bit of a punt from their part.
So it's a 14-second lead as they went through the last gate for the Bond's Flying Ruse, the winners of the last event, looking to make it 2 for 2.
Yeah, the manoeuvring's just good. They made a couple of sloppy errors in the last race, but again, see the tilt on the platform there? That's just showing quite how aggressively they're sailing the boat. Jason Waterhouse that were in there, he's on the coffee grinders there. Little movement forward with his right hand, little movement back. That's lift off the foil, lift on the foil, lift off, lift on. Constantly just adjusting, anticipating what the boat's going to do next.
Copy. Sail at 48.
Unbelievable, look at the dexterity on it.
Letting it tick off.
Hey, coming righty now,
Perfect phase with the wind. So they're just saying the wind's coming round towards that right-hand side. So if we just sail out this way a little bit, we'll be able to manoeuvre, we'll minimise some distance because the shift sail gives us less distance to sail. So they're perfectly lined up with the wind shifts.
Ooh, tight crossing in the back. So the battle is now on for second place between Spain and Germany Deutsche Bank. And Germany Deutsche Bank coming on fast.
Well, and if Australia are right and the wind is turning to the right, that's good news for Germany because they're heading where the Australians are. So potentially here the Germans are going to move themselves up to second.
I don't know what Lisa Darmanin said to Tom Slingsby before that final race, but whatever she said, it put a bee in his bonnet. He is off and flying.
Todd, whatever this almanac that Ryan Reynolds found one event ago about sailing from 1856 or something like that, that's got some serious gold dust in it because that has completely revolutionised it. Ben Durham, the coach, I think, sat ashore with that right now, reading out the details. This Australian team's just looks so good. Massive improvement in their performance.
Must have found a load of cats in Rio and now in Bermuda because right now it is all about the Bond's Flying Ruse, and with a win here this is going to give them a massive lead in the overall here as event number 5 comes to a conclusion, and it will be the Bond's Flying Ruse, this final maneuver here with one hole in the water but plenty of time to burn.
Right of way Germany. Spain are not quite in that circle. They would love to be in that circle to have the right of way. They've got to keep clear. Germany need to stay on the foil. Spain manoeuvres in front. Great positioning by Botin. He's going to try. Oh, that is brilliant by Botin. What a manoeuvre. Glided it in front.
But in the end, the Emirates winning moment for the second event in a row goes to the Bond's Flying Ruse. The green and gold reigns supreme in Bermuda.
What a result there. Spain did a good job for a second, but wow, the Bond's Flying Ruse just on fire.
Well, it's about what you thought, Stevie, as we were looking at practice and some of the numbers earlier this week. Spain looked fast, and you called it. They're going to be in the final. Germany may be the biggest surprise, but a great learning experience for a team that continues to get better.
Well, fantastic. 2 events in a row, getting better. Brilliant news for Germany Deutsche Bank.
But in the end, no one could match the strength and the speed of the Bond's Flying Ruse with their co-owner, Ryan Reynolds, here in Bermuda. It is the Australians that win the event. Wow, I'll tell you what, the Great Sound delivers. The conditions were fantastic, Hannah, but again, the Bonds Flying Rouge just seemed to be hitting the stride at the right time. I mean, I don't know if it was Ryan Reynolds, I don't know if it's Tom Slingsby. He got a little upset about the name calling, but he has turned things around, and the Bonds Flying Rouge are definitely the most dominant team here in SailGP.
Yeah, that's right. I think they're going to have to be happy with that performance, backing up a very different event in Rio with another win. So if we take a look back at the highlights from that final race, and lining up at the start was always going to be really important. The boats were lining up quite close together, but the Spanish and the Germans had to do a little kind of wiggle to the top of the line, which slowed them down a little bit, allowing the Bonds Flying Rouge to just get up to full speed, really hit that line well. We can see the bias is down the bottom end of the line, so being closer to that tells us that they're going to have a better angle to sail to Mark 1. So they got off the line really well, and all weekend that's been the key to getting ahead, hasn't it, Stevie?
Yeah, I think it's just started really, really well, and then they've been solid. We didn't mention it. You want me to tell you why I think they're doing so well? This is the first 2 events in a row where they've had Ian Jensen fully embedded in the team. He's a championship winning wing trimmer from last season. He was the big signing of the winter, and this Australian boat looks fast. Spain here, yeah, they set it up. They should have wanted to do the left turn, but they ended up having to try and take the risk, Hannah, didn't they? And just doing the wrong thing hurt them.
And it's really difficult when you have to choose to take that risk, when probably ultimately you know that it's not going to pay off. But amazing event for the Bonds Flying Rouge to take the win again here in Bermuda.
And we take a look at the Emirates fly time as the Emirates winning moment goes the way of the Bonds Flying Rouge. 94.9%, would have been 100%, but Tom Slingsby eased it across with H1 as they came in to get the victory, their 2nd in a row. So they win in Brazil, and now they win in Bermuda here in Season 6. Stevie and Hannah, I just have a feeling we're not going to get the invite to the party, but if Ryan Reynolds is there and he's picking up the tab, it's going to be a good one.
Well, I think it could be a good one, yeah, and if he's got his friend Ryan Gosling around as well, it could be really a perfect night out on the town. But it's going to be great for the Australians, isn't it? What a performance. A lot of them have spent a lot of time here in Bermuda, really showcases the F50s, the sailing here, and they've showcased quite how good they are. Slingsby, look at that, he's got his mojo back.
So they will make their way to the stage and they will pick up the big prize. Fantastic showing all weekend long. You look at the Bonds Flying Rouge and what they were able to perform. Again, day number 1 really on race 1 was their worst race when they finished in 8th place. Then they bounce back, they get a win, then they finish in 2nd, and then they bounce back again with another win to wrap up day number 1. Day number 2, they win race number 6. And they finish in 3rd in race number 7. So that's a pretty decent report card for the winners here in Bermuda, the Bonds Flying Rouge. And there is the presentation of the Wheel to the Champions from Apex Group CEO Peter Hughes. It is Tom Slingsby, the Bonds Flying Rouge, Ryan Reynolds somewhere in the crowd as they celebrate the victory here on the Great Sound. The Apex Group Bermuda Sail Grand Prix Event 5 goes the way of the Australians.
Great performance there, and she stood next to Tom Slingsby and Jensen. I mean, you know, you've got to look at where these details and where these little differences come from, don't they? You know, Tash Bryant, Jason Waterhouse there, Tom Slingsby, you know, they've been in amongst the team, but Ian Jensen brings that little bit of knowledge, maybe from another team, real master in the light wind, and he spent a lot of time opening champagne last year, so he should specialise at this bit of the day as well.
Look at Tash Bryant. She waits till everyone's done, stands up to the side, avoids the damage.
Yeah, don't you worry about Tash. She knows how to keep herself well and truly in the trouble.
Well, to the victors go the spoils, and once again, the 2nd event in a row, it belongs to the Bonds Flying Rouge. They have just looked so good, so fast, and so precise, Hannah. Maybe not the fastest team of all time, but they just don't make mistakes.
No, that's right, and that's really a testament to the crew work that goes on. We kind of mentioned yesterday about how important it is that you've got 6 all working together, and I think this is just a demonstration of that.
All right, so the Bonds Flying Rouge can begin the celebration, but before it gets really serious, we send it down to Lisa Darmanin, who is with the winners.
Congratulations, Tom, another win on the board. How good does it feel?
It feels amazing. I mean, we sailed so well all week, and to do it here, which is a second home for us for a long time. We love it here in Bermuda, and so amazing to come back and win in front of everyone.
Yeah, I think you made every final here, but to get a win is just so much special. And another one for the wall. You're going to need more wall space with the wheels you've got.
Yeah, no, we're doing well on the wins lately, but obviously winning at the end of the year is a big thing. and but we're right on track. Team's sailing well. We've got an amazing team behind these guys with our shore team, and so it's so exciting to have everyone here.
Awesome, thanks, Tom.
All right, thank you, Lisa. And she's exactly right, Stevie. The Bonds Flying Roos, they're going to run out of room because they have picked up quite a few trophies over 6 seasons.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, and of course there's a lot of prize money for these athletes as well. So there's a lot of things they're going to have to work out of store.
Well, the party continues on the shores of the Great Sound as we take a look at the event points. And once again, the Bonds Flying Roos get the win. They get into the final, and they just flex their dominance at the lines to be a near perfect start. As the line goes white, the Bonds Flying Roos were up and foiling. They pick up the 10 points. Los Gallos finished in 2nd place. Germany Deutsche Bank, they will pick up 8 season points. Big for them. Emirates GBR bounced back from what they did in Brazil, but not enough to get them into the final. Then Explorer Swiss round out the top 5. You got North Star Canada just missing out, and a disappointing performance, but they'll be back. The US SailGP team, they'll be on the clock now as they host the next event in New York City. So you crack out the abacus, add those points together, and you got the Bonds Flying Roos now 10 points clear of Emirates GBR on 35 to 45. Los Gallos now has moved into 3rd place, and the US SailGP team has been bumped into 4th on 31 points. There you see DS Team France. Germany Deutsche Bank, Artemis sits in 7th, and Red Bull Italy, Rockwell Racing, and North Star Canada rounding out the top 10. And what everyone wants to talk about, Hannah, it's money, prize money. And so far, the Bonds Flying Roos, their bank account's looking pretty good.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of teams who want to be adding a few more zeros to their tally there, but not a bad start for the season for the Bonds Flying Roos, that's for sure.
1.44 million for the Bonds Flying Roos thus far here in season 6.
And the Rolex Precision Athletes of the Day. Today it's a clean sweep of the Bonds Flying Roos team, and I think that's really well deserved. We've spoken a little bit about how important it is, the choreography between all of these sailors on board just to get the boat around the course, let alone to get the top performance. So a clean sweep of Tom Slingsby, Natasha Bryan, Ian Jensen, Jason Waterhouse from the Bonds Flying Roos.
Well, yeah, it was a masterful performance by the Australians, but of course we have to have the DP World fastest speed of the day. And that speed went to Emirates GBR. 70.95 kilometres an hour gave them the DP World speed of the day, and they're back. They got themselves off the ground from Rio.
So a nice job by Emirates GBR getting that award. And once again, congratulations to the Bonds Flying Roos. Well, the Big Apple awaits the world's best sailors as SailGP returns to Lower Manhattan for a showdown in the shadows of Lady Liberty. You won't want to miss the battle for supremacy in the Empire State. That's coming up at Event 6 on May 30th and 31st from New York City. The Bubudla New York Sail Grand Prix is back on the greatest stage.
Get out the gun like a bullet!
High stakes racing, iconic skyline views. And the black foils come alive.
They lost the boat.
The unmistakable buzz of summer in New York City.
Canfield is the master on the start.
Tune in, get your tickets. This will be SailGP like you've never seen it. Summer in New York City, Stevie, it'll be fantastic.
Yeah, and we've just seen how tight the fleet's going, millimetres of the matter, so the Big Apple, let's see a big show.
All right, as the teams now can celebrate the big victory, the Bonds Flying Roos make it 2 for 2. Can they make it 3 for 3 when they get to New York City? That'll wrap things up for Stevie Morrison, Hannah Diamond, Lisa Darman, and I'm Todd Harris saying so long from the Great Sound in Bermuda. This has been the Apex Group Bermuda Sail Grand Prix, part of the Rolex SailGP Championship. Once again, it's the Bonds Flying Roos that win it all. Welcome to Bermuda, where for the 4th time in league history, the Great Sound will be the arena for sailing's elite. Now it's time for the 12 national teams to rise to the occasion. Los Gallos will pick up the victory in race number 5.
Bonds Flying Roos are on fire. Beautiful by the Germans. Beautiful by all 3 teams.
The green and gold reigns supreme in Bermuda.